Alright guys, what's up everybody? It's me, I'm back. I'm back again. And yeah, before this video starts, I do want to say some upcoming things and stuff like that. For this channel, I shall be doing more things like posting on the Q&A section, talking to more people within the comments within each video, and basically be putting more community tabs and polls up to generally whatever people want. I even might just make a Discord. Well, technically, I am making a Discord, and I'm pretty sure I did make a Discord. Eventually, I'll put it up for all of you to go out of your ways and, enter and join the Discord. So y'all can genuinely join. And second is that genuinely I will be doing more videos on a different channel. Yes, I have a second channel now, and I will be doing more videos and more stuff that you guys will kindly request whatever videos you want me to watch. It just has one little thing. Please don't be anything crazy or brain rot. I will watch your brain rot stuff as long as it's understandable and consumable. That's really it. Nothing too crazy. And no, you can't put good in shit. Because we're not doing that. There are some rules for that channel. Now, eventually I will put the Discord. Eventually, between this week or second week, it should be up by then. So, yeah. And then I should have the first channel for the second video, or the first video for the second channel, fully up by then, because recently there has been a new death battle. And my thoughts were, you know what? Why not react to it? It is literally the perfect thing to react to. And generally speaking, it is. And so that's what I'm gonna do. So stay tuned for that. Please do go out your way and subscribe to that channel. Don't worry. It will be literally in the description, somewhere between my channels. I will show it to you and y'all can go out your way to subscribe. Please, please, please. And I do have a goal in mind. Eventually, I do want this channel to get higher than, 500. So if y'all can start subscribing, view the videos, put a like, and that would be nice. And more. And maybe I'll be doing more than just, pre-recorded videos. Maybe I'll even do a stream on this channel. Yeah. A stream. A YouTube stream. And heck, I'll probably even do Twitch. Because why not? So, there's also some things happening with the videos, I understand, and I've seen it. I tried to correct it, and currently, YouTube's being a pain in the ass. Sometimes it goes through properly, video's there, audio's there, but sometimes there's no audio, and other times, it just doesn't upload at all. So, I'll probably eventually get those videos up, and don't worry. I will have those videos up by then so y'all can enjoy the new content I've put my heart and soul into creating. And soon, I do have a few ideas I do want y'all to do. Um, I'm gonna have you guys choose the next what if. As in, y'all as the community, what you want. Yes. Yes, you heard me right. The viewer, the viewer that is watching this video, you will be choosing what we will be doing. So if y'all can nicely come together as a community, because I know y'all are there. There's 528 of y'all, and sometimes there are more than you that pop in. And please do stay. This community is nice. It's great. It might be quiet, but it's peaceful. But once we do get chatting, we don't really know how to shut up. And that's the good thing about it. We're all people who love anime and nerdy stuff. And we don't discriminate. We do not. But if you're gonna be an asshole and a jerk, then we don't want you. But if you're not gonna do that, then you are gladly welcome to this community. Oh, yeah, I should get to the video, shouldn't I? Alright. I'm gonna get to the video so y'all can go on. This is part 3 of with deku with Godzilla. Yeah, I had to redo this video. It sucks. But eventually, that's the plan. But don't worry. They'll all be up eventually. And yeah. I hope y'all enjoy. It was once again the depths. The depth of the ocean that was, well, there. And no, they were not cold. It was very cold. Shivering. And Izuku swam right past. Izuku proceeded to look around. It was yet again the same thing. Just blue. Blue oceans stretched to the horizon. As a Godzilla, he thought that at least being here would do something, but this is kind of lonely. All he could really do is sleep, swim around, look, and then repeat. Heck, he would even take a good fight. But I guess that's what you do for peace. He proceeded to once again rise above the ocean. It was cold. The world was in peace. The last time the world saw a monster was generally 50 to 70, almost 80 years ago now. His first rampage in Japan, and then the second time where people saw 2 monsters battling out. But ever since then, those times faded. It has been almost 70 years since. And now, monsters seemingly faded away into bleakness. He dove once again, swimming. Swimming through the Pacific, just doing nothing. As he swam, he proceeded to swim by. The more he was in the oceans, the more he knew the life around. There were schools of fish, coral reefs, animals, even blue whales once in a while that he swam past. A few sharks and some jerks of dolphins. Yeah, dolphins were jerks. He kind of learned that by watching them and what they were doing, like bullying several pufferfish just to do it. It reminded him of Monoma, like how he bullied people and called class 1A out because, well, technically, because he could. Now looking back at it, he does miss his old world, even if they betrayed him. They have faded into memory, but he remembers them. And he wonders what it was like. If things were different. If maybe that they didn't betray him. Well, he got a second chance here. That radiation entity gave him this chance to live anew. But supposedly he's a guardian, whatever he wants to be. It's his own choice. But he has to live it. And Izuku will do just that. Live his life. As he continued to swim forward, he swam and continued. And then as he was just about to lay down and rest, something within the world changed. His eyes snapped immediately opened. He turned his head looking around. What the heck was that? His ears twitched. He couldn't literally hear it, but somewhere he felt it. Like the winds have changed. Not in a good way. A snarl rumbled through, escaping. Bubbles proceeded to pop, floating up to the surface. And then a low cry from far, far, far away, somewhere around the globe. Something awoke. Something that was meant to be asleep, but woke up. He immediately reacted. Flashes of memories, not of his own, but of Godzilla's. A species called Gojira's, Titanus Gojira, creatures that proceed to feed off of other monsters, Mutos. These Mutos proceeding to hunt down these Gojiras and feed off of them and use their bodies as incubators for their hatchlings. All these information came in fast, quick. It was all instantly brought to his brain. Boom. And then it was done. Over. Just like that. Within a heartbeat. He was freaked out for a moment. But then he realized a monster just awoken. And from those memories, he had a pretty good hunch which one. A Muto. And if a Muto woke up, that means it's clearly out for two things. Food and a mate. And if there's a female nearby, or anywhere around the globe, that's a bad thing. The hero within him was already calculating, seeing if he could use or save these creatures, stop them from being monsters or something. But the beast, it was simple, one-minded, one thing, destroy it. He followed it, and then he felt it, something making a shift and heading towards a direction. He immediately followed. No point of waiting. He started following it, hunting it. As he swam after it, it took a few hours, but he eventually caught up to it. And where? The Hawaiian Islands. Of course. Hawaii. The monster was making its way through a airport. The moment that he made landfall upon the airport, he rose up to 100 meters. The creature was somewhere between 60 to 70 meters. Small, nimble, bug-like, black. Had two thin wings that stretched out, bigger than its body. It visor like red glowing eyes. Not like normal eyes. No teeth, but seemingly similar to a wasp-like bee. And with seemingly protrusion-like stingers within its mouth. That's the best way he thought of it when he saw this thing. A muto. A male, to be more exact. He growled and snarled. As it turned around, it saw him. It roared. It was loud. The two immediately circled each other. The male was, well, there. He immediately flew into the air. And then it began. Another one. And this time for the whole world to see that monsters now exist. The clash was quick. He proceeded to try to grab it at least once. But it was fast. A lot faster than he thought it was. The heck? He tried grabbing it again. It kept on running. He proceeded to roar out. Angry, annoyed. Even the hero within was kind of annoyed now. This thing was fast. Even worse, he was a several thousand ton creature. This Heisei form wasn't going to help him. It was a nimble, very hefty, large. It proceeded to fly over, dive immediately. He tried to turn, but he was still kind of slow. He felt the pain. Its hook-like protrusion is sinking into his skin, opening his mouth and trying to bite down, biting on his neck. He proceeded to screech out in pain. He thrashed, and he proceeded to finally get a grip of it, proceeding to remove it as it took, a few seconds, painful seconds to remove the thing, but the Muto was able to be thrown off. It proceeded to fly, correcting itself. It proceeded to fly over. It watched, stalking him. And it would speak. A Gojira with no gills. What type of Gojira is this? It proceeded, eyes narrowed. Izuku glared at it. That hurt. But did it say gills? Gills, as in, like sharks. Of course. It'll make sense. But he doesn't breathe through gills. He can breathe underwater just fine without gills. He proceeded to snarl, growl, in fact. But the fact that this thing aimed for his neck, kind of disturbing. Well, it made sense. A lot of animals would go for the throat. He was ready to combat it once again. Speaking to it was going to be complicated. What are you doing? As he proceeded to say, why are you terrorizing these people? They've done nothing to you. Done. They're in the way of my goal, my mission. I have only one thing in mind, to find my partner and then revitalize my species once again, to be the top, and for yours to finally die over. You, Gojira, is always getting in the way. And this time, I'll take you out. Before he can finish, a low call was heard. Not as in a roar, but one that was vibration sent through the earth, and then they both felt it. The male immediately turned. And he said, there she is. He proceeded to immediately unfold his wings, launching into the air. Hey, get back here! Izuku proceeded to shout out, roaring as he proceeded to try to chase. But the male was already within the air, high within the sky, and then he vanished into the night. God damn it. He proceeded to snarl out. No human could understand his language because he was a monster. Perfect. But now the world knows of monsters, and all cameras was pointing to him now. He proceeded to roar out, frustrated, and proceeded to begin the chase. If that male proceeds to find that female and they mated, that's not going to be really good for him. Now it's a situation of life and death. Not for him, but probably for the whole planet. And all upon around the world, the governments are going to have a lot of shit to do. But he did not know the half of it. Immediately, the U.S. ambassador should have proceeded to say, that's preposterous. How? How can this be? Another proceeded to say, so, they actually are real. I thought that whole funding to Monarch was unnecessary. But these things are really real. Another proceeded to scroll by and proceeded to sigh. You know, I thought these things were bad enough, but the fact that these creatures now exist and they're actually real is another worse. It's a lot worse. The Russian ambassador proceeded to say, so what do we do? Exactly. Do we just leave it? No, of course not. A British ambassador proceeded to say, if we leave it, it's going to cause destruction, mayhem. He proceeded to look at all the other ambassadors on the world, along each country. We all have our differences, but we all can understand and come to one agreement. If these monsters are around and they're now terrorizing our world, we can't just sit around and do nothing. This is when a man stepped forward. There's only one thing we could do. The U.S. ambassador proceeded to say, Dr. Sarazawa, you are not in the field to speak. I know my role. I know where I belong. But this is the world that I understand. And this is something that I can help you all with. We all are in a situation that is hard to explain. This world that we're sharing is not our own anymore. Far from it. In fact, we're sharing with these creatures, these titans. As Sarah Dodd proceeding to pull up an image of another monster. These parasites, we call them mutos. They proceed to hunt other creatures. Hunt? Yes. Sarah Dodd proceeded to say, simply put, they're looking for something or each other. Alright then. What about the third creature? Sarah proceeded to bring up another image. The video footage was grainy at best. But the silhouette of the large reptilian-like monster was evident. The white, clear silver dorsals that were shaped like maple leaves. This is the same creature from all those years ago. He proceeded to bring up an older, much older video. One of a creature that was rising from the ocean with seemingly much more smaller dorsals than the reptilian one. But they were similar, but different shape. Like, this one will seem to be more grown. But the bomb proceeded to explode right on top of it, hiding most of the creature now, supposedly seeming like it was gone. About almost 70 years ago, right after the World War, Japan had an experience of a monster. It came upon its shores and destroyed everything. The nation was devastated, but it was able to survive, barely. Yes, what about it? So that nation was able to survive. Doesn't mean we can't do the same. Sarazawa, we understand what you're coming from. But we do need to ask you one thing. What is this creature? It is an ancient predator. One to seemingly restore order within the world. Order. A Britain ambassador proceeded to ask, and what is this creature? It's part of an ancient, very ancient creature. He proceeded to look at the image, the video frame. We call it Godzilla. The Japanese ambassador's eyes narrowed. The same one that seemingly went upon is supposed to be our savior. It must have just woken up. It must have enraged it at least once. But now it is after the Mutos. It is hunting them. And you think we should just, what? Sit back and watch? No. We should follow. Study it. This is what Monitor was meant to be. This is what Monarch was supposed to be made for. Studying these creatures. And here we are. A chance. But we can only do that if we work together. And what is this? And what exactly is your suggestion? To what the male is following. The male is simply following the call of the female. The female seems to be calling a mating call. That also invites any suitors, but it also attracts predators. Gojira. He's hunting both. And if this thing does not seem to be hunting anybody but those two, how do we deal with them? For now, in due time. Our suggestion is that they eventually will eventually meet soon. In fact, we probably only have 48 hours. Less than. So 2 days at least. 2 to 3 days. I want Monarch on this whole situation. The Japanese ambassador proceeded to say, look at the others. Do we all agree? Each one of the other ambassadors upon the others, upon around the world, proceeded to sigh. The Arabic one proceeded to sigh. Very well. Very well then. We must do what is necessary. If these creatures are here to invade our world, we must defend it. We can't do that alone, not by ourselves. We must unite together. as one. Within a day and a half, the female proceeded to make her way through. Making her way through not just the US, all the way down to Texas, and somehow finding a nuclear warhead and taking it and feeding off of it. Eventually, the US Army would learn that this female has eggs. Unfiltered, ready eggs. And she's about to bear. And seemingly, she's making her way straight out of the US waters towards Japan. But seemed to have a different outcome in changing her directions towards San Francisco. They seemingly in trouble to where this nest is going to be laid. The plan was to stop them at San Francisco. That was the idea. The confrontation with the male was devastating. Forces were taken out. Ships were brought down. Another warhead and a submarine was stolen and used to be a banquet for the female as a gift. These two intelligent creatures decided that this wasn't a safe place. Too many eyes. So they quickly made their ways out through the ocean into the waters. The male flew. There's not a far country, not far. Within the Pacific, far enough. Japan. Once Suzuka proceeded to notice that these creatures has changed course from San Francisco all the way to Japan, he proceeded to scowl. So they're going towards Japan. How convenient. Well, I can cut them off there. I'm closer to Japan than the US. He proceeded to immediately change course, swimming towards the opposite direction. He can probably cut them off just before they arrive. They'll probably get really close, maybe Musafu or Kyoto or maybe Hosu. But he'll figure it out eventually. He just needs, or maybe Ginza. He simply be scowled. Doesn't matter. Time to go. As he swam, it took him about a few hours. But he made landfall not long after. Rising within the waters of Nagasaki, he proceeded to make his way forward. Straight towards where the two were. This was going to be a tough battle. As he made his way forward through the city, he tried not to destroy any buildings as much. He can feel them. They're not far. They're right on the edge, not too far from Mustafu. But luckily, right close to the whole of Kuo. How convincing. Kuo town. He remembered his own. It was a small little nice town. But now, time to completely, maybe destroy the city. He made his way forward. This was going to be difficult. Maybe the battle wouldn't be so bad. As he got closer inwards towards upland, the male was on a high-rise building. The moment he saw him, you see the roar out. So you've come. Good. Gives me a chance to fully take you out this time. Zuko snarled. Well, it's go time. And I can't let you two procreate. It's already too late. The eggs have been laid. Well, I guess this has gotta be the one to burn it. Burn it down. The two proceeded to roar at each other. The male flew into the air while Izuku proceeded to move forward. They clashed. As civilians ran, trying to find places to hide, the two monsters were battling out. The male proceeded to charge forward, flying straight into him. He grabbed it, pulling it. He proceeded to bite it and proceeded to use a building to bring it down on top of it. That was probably a lot of damage and probably a couple of people, a few thousand or 100 people dead, hoping that it was empty, hopefully. But the battle wouldn't be so simple. It would rage on for hours. All the way until sunset and nightfall came. The battle rained on. Izuku tried slowly but surely getting closer and closer to the nest. As he stomped his way forward, the male had to retreat. He glaring at what he saw. There they were, the male and female. Not far, not too long. It was time to end this final clash, and it begins now. If you asked Issei Hoda what he thought of this, he would tell you that you were crazy. Monsters don't exist. But once he was revealed to the supernatural world, that was going to be different. But now, actual giant monsters of skyscrapers actually existing, that's another thing. The moment that it was all over the news, everyone was seemingly panicked. Seemingly monsters were coming straight for Kulo's town. As he proceeded away from Rise's odors, she proceeded to sigh. Great. Just another one. She proceeded to look, and I thought Kokobill was bad enough. Yeah. I would say it's a hot spot, but I probably shouldn't say that, should I? She looked at Issei, proceeded to look at him. No, it's not. Far within the distance, smoke was already in the air on the other side of Kuo. They've already locked up several areas of the city. Issei proceeded to look. Okay, so, question. Did you know about these creatures? Or Riz proceeded to look at her pawn, looking at him. She proceeded to shake her head. No, this is new. We don't know anything about these titans or kaijus. This is all new information. And now, everyone within the supernatural world seemingly has an eye out. It spread like wildfire. Reese proceeded to turn towards Issei. This is one of a few things about the supernatural world you have to be careful of. Things are always changing. Kiba proceeded to return. I've checked all the borderline rural areas. They have everywhere around a 500-meter radius completely armed and guarded. Reese proceeded to raise an eyebrow. So they're trying to keep on the down low. Kaneko proceeded to simply scoff. How are you gonna keep monsters on the download? Her voice was melodic as usual. But there's a deadpan tone to it. Audrey proceeded to ask, what about the people? The innocent, the ones that are terrified. Reese proceeded to shake her head. There's gonna be some collateral damage, I suppose. October's turned as she proceeded to enter. Collateral is one way to say it. To what I could get from databases. These creatures, called Mudos, have laid a nest. Reese raised an eyebrow and said, nest? Akka proceeded to nod. She was about to explain until the door was opened by Sona. More like a hive mind, she proceeded to enter with her full peerage. They have a whole nest. Thousands. Sanji proceeded to walk towards Issei. Hey man, how's everything handling for you? You know, well, I originally thought that things are gonna get returned back to normal, at least for a while, after a Kokobile. I thought everything would be fine, but no. No, this is worse than I thought. Sona proceeded to sigh. Worse than anything. Bad timing, too. Reese proceeded to nod. Correct. In just several days right before Parent-Teacher Conference and the meeting of the supernatural leaders. Sona proceeded to nod. Yeah. Very, very bad. If anything, this is terrible. I thought Kokobile was already bad enough, but monsters? Really? Tsubaki say, Kaiju, there seems to be, well, another one. Sona raised her eyebrow, proceeding to look at her queen. Another one. She proceeded to nod. Another one. To what the armed forces are saying. Another one's heading straight towards the other two. Great. That's what we need. 3 of them. But this one's different. More reptilian. Sona proceeded to raise an eyebrow. Reptilian. Tsubaki proceeded to nod. They're calling it Gojira. Issei proceeded to pause. Hearing the name Gojira. Wait. You mean that legend? The monster that attacked Japan almost 70, 60 years ago? I thought that was just a myth. The Nova proceeded to enter, proceeded to walk in, and then really say, myth? What myth? He proceeded to look at her, and then proceeded to say, well, there was kind of an old story not long after the Second World War. After Japan lost, there was seemingly a monster that woke up. As the legend says, it was so enraged by the war that it threw its anger onto Japan for entering the war and disgracing it. It was said that it was brought down by the gods as a punishment to Japan. It seemingly destroyed almost everything. They called it Godzilla, the monster of destruction. Reese proceeded to blink once and twice. I find that hard to believe. I thought it was an earthquake that happened, as Saji Silpa says. An earthquake? Really? Yeah, I didn't really believe in the whole, monster thing. But if the supernatural can exist, I don't think monsters can exist in the same world either. Right. They can't or can. Doesn't matter, bro. They exist. That's bad enough. Reese proceeded aside. It doesn't matter. What matters now is we need to figure out how to wait it. Cause less damage. How less of a damage can we do? Reese proceeded aside and proceeded to say a few ideas. Is help the civilians, get them out of areas that are going to be seemingly more populated by these monsters. When they ever decide to clash, you think they're going to fight? Tsubaki proceeded to say that's what most of the evidence says. They seem to be rivals, like predators. Oh, so like they're hunting each other. Saji proceeded to say. Exactly. That makes more sense. Keeper proceeded to rub his chin. But what exactly would this do? So we will have a large-scale battle all within the territory. Basically, Tsubaki proceeded to say, nodding. Shona proceeded to sigh. It looks like we need to get my sister and your brother on. Really proceeded to scowl. I already messaged my brother. She proceeded to say, but the likelihood of his forces getting here in time will be something. Tashi proceeded to say, so we can't get Lord Surge to just, go pew and erase them both? No, Rhea Simple says. It's worse that it's that the whole world knows about them. The monsters, to be more exactly. They're actually seemingly a problem. Oh, so we can't let them go pew. No, Saji, we can't let Lord Surgex go pew to them. Well, so much for that. Even worse, the human world already knows about these monsters. If we try to involve ourselves in it, we'll just get exposed. So what do? We do what we can, help from the shadows. Reese proceeded to look out towards the window, seeing the smoke rise in the air. And from the way that that there's more smoke in the air, I assume the battle's already started. They all proceeded to turn towards the window. Somewhere within a distance, far in the city, a battle was going on, already begun and started. A few hours later, it was chaotic. They proceeded to see the monsters, now seeing at least one of them. The female was proceeding to be pushed back by a larger one, a much larger one that was almost several times bigger than her. She was about 90 meters, while the other one was 100 meters. A reptilian-like creature, a bipedal dragon. It proceeded to push the female on its back. Its large, hefty body proceeded to walk forward, lifting its four-clawed foot and slamming it upon it. It proceeded to snarl as it was about to seemingly do a finishing blow. The male came out of nowhere, grabbing it and dragging it off. They proceeded to watch the battle. These monsters fighting each other. The male proceeded to pull off the other creature, Godzilla apparently. The monster proceeded to thrash. It proceeded to grab the male, tossing it off. The female was able to get back up, rushing forward and slamming into it. It crashed down, bringing a couple of buildings down along with it. Reese proceeded to watch. This is something else. Right, that makes sense. Issa proceeded to nod. So, what do we do exactly? We continue helping evacuate people and get them out of here. Sona's already having people evacuated. As Octopus should say, alright, good. I have an idea. And what is that? We're going to the heart of this solution. This conflict. The heart? Kiba proceeded to nod. The heart. Ozzy proceeded to say nervously, and that would be... Zenobia proceeded to point her sword, Durandal. It makes sense, doesn't it? The nest. Reese proceeded to nod, nodding at her new knight. Exactly. That's what we need to take out. If we take out the nest, the biggest thing that's going to be all of our worries will be gone. Wait. As Easy proceeded to say, you want us to go into a monster's nest and what? Destroy it? Exactly. I don't think that's a good idea. Issei, we have to. It's not just for the world of the supernatural. It's now a task for the whole planet. I'll go proceed to smile. But if you're afraid... No, I'm not afraid. I can do this. Issei proceeds to step forward. Alright. I can do this. Riz proceeded to nod. Alright. She proceeded to get a teleportation spell ready. As they immediately teleported away. Less than a minute later, they arrived. Right where it needed to be. They proceeded to hide in the corner. As seemingly forces of the Japanese army was already placing bombs. As another shook far as seemingly from the monsters' battle going on. One said, "Alright, we have it all set." That way, move. They proceeded to leave, heading out, trying to make their way out of, there. Now that I think about it, Issei proceeded to say, these things look hideous. And are they glowing? Issei proceeded to look at all the eggs. There was hundreds, maybe 1,000. And they're all glowing that same orange like red. They're all so young, Azia simply says. And we're going to destroy every last one of them. Reese proceeded with the bomb. Issei. She proceeded to turn upon one simple task for you. Destroy. Issei proceeded to look at the bomb, then proceeded to nod. Right. Ozzy's eyes widened. We're going to really do this? But they're innocent. Kiba proceeded to place a hand up on her shoulder. It's for the best. And when they grow older, they're not going to be really nice. Issei proceeded to boost. He proceeded to boost his power several times over. Alright. He proceeded to charge up magic as magic proceeded to form right in front of the gauntlet. A small red ball of crimson energy was formed. He proceeded to throw it forward, punching it and crying out, "Dragon shot!" As immediately his gauntleted fist would hit it, the wave of crimson energy proceeded to launch forward, crashing into the bomb and blowing the whole nest. And in a bright boom, everything combusted. As Izuku was being beaten down upon, he proceeded to struggle, growling. He was losing a lot of blood. The male and female were continuing their beating. The male dropped on him yet again from a decent height. He felt his ribs crack. Oh, that hurts. And then he heard that sound. Boom! It was large, loud, and it was bright. All three monsters turned. Izuku's eyes peeled towards to where the nest was. Explosion. The Moodles immediately paused, stop, and then they immediately left him, rushing to the nest. The female was the first one to leave. She was running quickly. The male followed. Before he knew it, he heard the cries of the female, an agonizing wailing sound, and then the smell, oh. It was a sweet smell of burning flesh. He wouldn't say, Izuku wouldn't admit it to himself, but he was kind of glad that the nest was destroyed. His biggest issue. He proceeded to get up. Oh, whoever did that, really appreciate that. He felt his wounds, the blood, the tear, all started to slowly heal. Regenerating quite quickly, actually. He made his way forward, making his way right. As the female continued, a soldier that she caught right there. She proceeded to see the soldier. Was about to attack the soldier until, something caught her attention. A flash and then a hum of power, and then a rhythmic beating as several flashes continue to go. An azure light proceeded to bathe the area in a blue glow. Her eyes peeled towards the azure light. Within the smoke of the explosion, she saw the Gojira up. She proceeded to immediately freeze, recognizing what's going to happen. No, this can't be. He's still up. Izuku's up. Dorso's just now glowing azure blue. He proceeded to breathe in and released. A seemingly incandescent azure blue beam of radiation spewed out of his mouth in a strong, powerful ray. The ray was solid, powerful, and it did pack one hell of a punch. As he pushed back the female, she proceeded to screech out in pain. It was burning her, actually burning her. It went for a few seconds, and then he fired another one. Bam! The same bluish glow was still there. She was pushed back right into several buildings as she was seemingly brought down by the buildings as they toppled crashing down on top of her. Her outer shell was steaming. The blue glow on Izuku's spines proceeded to die down. He proceeded to make his way after releasing the atomic breath. Well, that was something convenient. He was ready to do another sweet, good blast. Should he do another? He got closer, ready to strike her. But then the male came again. Get away from her! He continued to screech out as Messina latched upon his neck. He proceeded to snarl and growl. God damn it! His mind proceeded to race. Crap. He proceeded to struggle, trying to remove the male. He was biting at his neck, to where there should be gills, but there weren't. But still clawing, gripping. He proceeded to snarl, glaring, turning his orange-reddish eyes towards it. And he decided, you know what? Maybe this is the one time I'm gonna finish this. He proceeded to grab it, gripping it tight, digging his claws into it as he pulled. As it was pulled straight off of him, he tossed it away with his jaws, using that chance as the male proceeded to reorient himself, flying back for another one. Izuku watched it. Glaring, he wished he had Black Whip. Black Whip was very useful, but then he remembered a tail. And then he remembered Ojiro, his classmate. Well, might as well take a page out of his book. He proceeded to prepare his tail, raising it up not enough for the male to notice. And then when it got close enough, right in range, he swung it. The large appendage proceeded to swing, slamming right into the male, brutal force, right into the skyscraper beside them both. It was a loud crunch, and the sound of glass and concrete and cement, and the sound of a sweet impalement being heard. He hit the male so hard, the fact that the building things seemed to shake for a moment. He proceeded to watch it, as then the light in the male's eyes proceeded to slowly fade. The red-orange visor-like eyes going dark. He took a breath. Oh, God. Damn, that hurt. He was exhausted. Radiation levels were starting to get really low. Uncomfortably, dangerously low. This is good. We're at a good point in time where One for All would be useful. But luckily, he probably didn't need it. And then he heard a sound like crumbling sand. He looked up to see the skyscraper that he just landed the mill into, that was impaled on, now falling towards him. Before he knew it, his body was already being pushed by the large building. He was brought down to his knees as the building collapsed right on top of him. You could see the groan. Oh, damn it. Right before he faded to sweet unconsciousness, he saw someone, a red-haired girl, and teal blue eyes, crimson red hair. And then the smoke proceeded to cover his face. Sweet unconscious came by just as fast. And before he knew it, he woke up in the vestige world. Izuku looked around. Where was he? So, kid, how you doing? He heard that voice. He remembers it. He slowly turned his head to see the sixth user, Banjo, and the user of the original Quirk Looter, Black Whip, standing right beside him with the rest of the messages of One for All right beside him. Izuku blinked once, twice. You guys are here. You're actually here. I thought. Not 100% a smile. We're still here. Yes. But you seem to find yourself in a predicament. Yeah, I guess. But I haven't seen you or talked or heard of you speak. For now, as Yoichi says, One for All is seemingly unable to be used by you currently. It's currently being separated, reconnecting slowly but surely. I haven't used it in 70 years. The second user proceeded to look at him. You seem to be holding up quite well. Izuku proceeded to scratch his head. I guess so. What do I do now? Badger proceeded to scoff. Isn't it obvious? You have a monster to kill, kid. Huh? Nana proceeded to nod. Correct. That Mudo creature. You can't allow it to live. I know it's not very much heroic, but we're in a new world. New system, new place, new rules. And these creatures don't seem to have any value for human life, nor for life at all. You have to end it. I know this is going to be hard for you to do, Midoriya. But could you do that? Could you put this creature down? I did it to the last one. Banjo proceeded to smirk. Good. Izuku turned towards the flaming one, the eighth user, his mentor, and his favorite hero, and a man that he kind of saw as a father figure, All Might. Which was better because as long as he's a flame, that means he's still alive. All Might simply nodded towards him. There's no words needed to say. All Might was supported no matter what, all the way through. You can even hear him say, "Go on, my boy. Be the hero that you need to be." You could almost hear his words. He turned away, turning towards Yoshi. I don't know if I can beat this by myself. You have all the power you need. Not just from what you are right now, but from that what that entity said to you. Your power comes within here. He pulled towards Izuku's heart. Focus. Use it. And always remember, you're not alone, Midoriya. Call upon one for all. He'll be there in your time of need. As Izuku perceived, everything started to fade. I guess I'll see you guys another time. Go, Badger simply says. And kick that thing's ass. Izuku nodded. As his eyes closed immediately and then reopened. What? Where am I? He proceeded to panic, wondering, where the hell was he? He proceeded to rise. He saw, looking towards, and saw the female. She was all the way in the harbor. His eyes narrowed. He felt the power. He felt one for all flowing at a low percentage of 5%. He felt his body aching. Even as this Godzilla, this Heisei form, he could feel it straining, weakening. He pushed forward, taking a step forward. One, another, and another. Each step was straining, his body screaming to him to not. He expended so much nuclear energy. But that undying will to save lives stayed the same. And if it took to take this thing down to save lives, then very well. It was no different than a Nomu. He took a step to the waters, pushed forward. It was over a ship. Someone was in it. He hardened his heart and proceeded to move forward quickly, opening his mouth and chomping down upon its neck. It proceeded to screech out. The female proceeded to cry out, "What? You're alive? How? No, you can't do this to me. You're going down." He proceeded to grab her, pulling her back from the ship. He struggled for a few moments. Okay. Maiming her and clawing her is not going to do enough. But using his atomic breath would definitely work. But upon the outside, it's way too tough. But the inside, Izuku proceeded to grab her by her mouth, proceeding to force it open. His dorsal proceeded to flash, the spines glowing. That silver pale white spines glowing from the inside out, an azure blue, all the way to the tip of the tail. As the glow got brighter, he proceeded to finally pry her mouth open and proceeded to fire the atomic breath down her throat. It wasn't as powerful as it was earlier, due to being largely the energy capacity being extended. But it did come out as a flame, almost a flame-like effect, but it still did the job. It started to burn through her internal organs, and then started to rip through her throat. Before we know it, in a few seconds, burst. Her head completely detached and burned off as her body proceeded to slump. He had her head right in his hands. Her body thudded within the waters. He thought the ray proceeded right after he detached the head, holding it for a few seconds, and then proceeding to let out a roar, a final roar of victory. Finally, after finishing that cry, he proceeded to let it go, dropping the head and proceeding to breathe out. Oh boy. Oh yeah. That's going to leave a mark He proceeded to breathe out, taking several deep breaths before his body proceeded to finally shut down on him. And he started to fall, well, towards the ground. Oh, this is exciting. The ground's getting really close. Crash. Ground and impact. He groaned. That was a very, very painful sensation. And no, it was not fun. Oh, that hurts. That hurts very much. He proceeded to close his eyes. They're already closing on their own. Exhaustion started to come forward. With exhaustion comes sleepiness. And sleepiness comes the weird of dreams. And before he knew it, unconsciousness took him. His dream was weird. Seemingly now in a new area. He opened his eyes, realizing he was back in UA. This classroom was Class 1A. His own seat. He looked at himself. He was back in his original body. Everything was back to normal. There it was. And then he looked up. His classmates. His friends. Rock Christine asks, "What are you doing? Huh? What's going on?" He was confused. What on earth was going on? Deku, are you okay? She proceeded to look at him strangely, like he was lost his mind. Was that all a dream? Ida proceeded to turn towards him, looking at him. "What are you talking about, Midoriya? Have you been taking enough sleep?" His chopping hand motion was familiar, a familiar comfort. Was everything just a dream? The hell are you talking about, nerd? Baka proceeded to spat out. Proceeded to look more annoyed. But that annoyed was different. Like he was concerned. All of his classmates were looking at him strangely, like he was losing his mind. I don't know what's going on. Aizawa proceeds to step forward and simply asking, all right. Everyone relax. Midoriya." He proceeded to step forward. "Why didn't you do it?" Huh? You heard me. Why did you not stop Shigaraki? What do you mean? Why did you not stop him? Why did you stop him, Deku? More of his classmates started to change. Their voices all echoing the same question. Why didn't he not stop him? Midoriya, why did you not win? Midoriya, why did you not do this? And slowly the world around him that he was so familiar with started to change, morph, change. More people who were familiar, but so far. He failed. He turned to a voice, seeing his own mother. "Mom? You failed to save everyone, even me. I thought you were going to be different. I thought if I supported you in this childish dream you would do something good, but you failed. Mom, no, how could you fail? The more that they all talked, the more that he felt his brain like it was splitting apart. Like, I can't. I'm sorry. Then All Might showed. Young Midoriya, I thought you were worthy, but I was wrong. You are not worthy. I'll have to hand back One for All from you. Wait, you can't do this to me. Give me another chance at least. More words started to echo out. More and more. Wait, no. Then it started to fade away. Wait, please don't go. But they were all gone. He tried to take a step forward to stop them, but he stepped into water, and then he was submerged, and then he was looking at himself, the new him. It was staring straight at his face, looking at him. And then it attacked him. He panicked immediately, and then his eyes opened, snapping open. As he breathed in, what the fuck? He proceeded to look around, seeing there was daylight. Morning. How convenient. How nice. He proceeded to groan. This was going to be interesting. He rose up slowly but steadily. There were people around, watching him. Officers, firemen, ambulance, as they all were watching in shock. He turned away from them. The world does seem too complicated right now. He took a step forward and took another step. Each step felt heavy. He felt tired and exhausted. I guess that happens when you fight all night against two giant parasite bug monsters that literally try to destroy the world. Just perfect. Each step felt heavier than before. Each felt feeling like he was taking a step. That dream felt weird. And sleep was calling his name. Yep, definitely. Sleep was definitely calling his name. As he took another step forward, he proceeded to enter the waters once again. Submerging himself within, he dove, started swimming. He gave one last cry out, one last victorious roar over them, the battle that he just had several hours ago. And continue on his way within the deep. The further he swam, the more exhausted he felt. He needed to find another source of radiation, maybe an open vent just close to the Earth's mantle. Probably that'll be decent enough for him. So as he swam and swam, he found one finally. And then he simply sat and laid there for a decent while and pondered. What the frick was that dream? That felt too real. Too real to be a dream. Too awake. Was that really a dream or a nightmare? To be honest, he couldn't tell anymore. He couldn't know. Anyone asked him before, he would call him crazy. But he would take his chances of enjoying this peace and quiet within this time frame that he has. Because he just feels like he just opened another can of worms into a whole new possibility of conflict. His eyes closed once again, allowing sleep to once again take him. Indeed, it came. Sleep came by nice. Several days passed. Seemingly the world now knew about Gojira or Godzilla. A savior of humanity, supposedly, or threat. But now the whole world is now wondering where it is. Isahiro's thoughts were simply on breast. But I guess the world, when you have a giant monster, you can't really avoid that anymore. Issei proceeded to continue. As the days went on, recovery of, the city was going through. Slowly but surely, everything was repairing itself. Even the Devil King himself sent devils to go out and start repairing some of the surrounding cities, structures, replacing fragment memories with others that repaired buildings. Several, in fact, to recover properly. But now, the bigger question is parent-teacher conference. What the hell was he supposed to do? And now Reyes' brother is here. Not just that, meeting her brother was one thing. Having him sleep in his house was another thing. And then meeting your internal rival. And on top of that, a seemingly nuclear monster roaming the world currently unknown. It just felt like recently his world's been falling apart and flipped upside down. Issei proceeded to sigh to whatever was simply deciding he needed to figure it out. But the world was still spinning. The world would continue to go on. Just with new things added on top of that. The supernatural Petri dish was coming through. It was supposed to be going well, in fact. But it felt like it was slow. Like, now the topic wasn't just about the conflict between the three factions, but a new, seemingly unknown threat. The kaijus, monsters or titans, as the world has dubbed them as. They are a new threat to this way of life. And he's still just trying to figure out his own way of life. The boy sighed. He looked at Kiba and proceeded to ask, so, is this usually how peace treaties go, or... Kiba proceeded to shrug. Usually this is how they go. Offerings, gifts, and then the actual meeting. But now there's certain things that are different. Like, one nuclear reptile that seemingly killed the other two. Issa proceeded to scowl for a moment. Yeah, that nuclear reptile is a seemingly large predator. One that's very powerful and destructive. But the worst thing about it, no one knows where it is. Keep him sitting shrug. It's somewhere in the world. Probably just hiding. How would a large thing like that hide away? Where could you hide that thing? Well, clearly it came from the ocean, so obviously it can spend more time within the waters. And because most of the ocean has been unexplored, there's clearly evidence of fact that it's somewhere there. Ria's proceeding to speak up. Proceeding to sit within her chair. I know it's been a hectic few days. Repairs, helping people, and along with the peace treaty. But there's more going on now. Right, Issei simply says. More going on. Giant monster? Do any of us know where it is? Ria simply sighed and shook her head. To its whereabouts? Currently are unknown. Sadly, we don't know where it is. So it's just missing. Ria's proceeding to look around, thinking about it. More like it's hiding. I'm gonna proceed to simply say seriously. Or recovering. I bet that battle was draining for it. This is when Zudovia proceeded to say, that the way it was fighting, I can say it was a high class in power. Maybe larger. Definitely a dragon. And Kiba simply says, that's the best way we can describe it as. Reptilian-like, Dragon King? As Zudovia proceeded to say, thinking about that level of power. No, Ria simply says, it's far beyond Dragon King. It can probably sit quite comfortably with the level of celestial dragons, like the two heavenly dragons. This is when Dreg spoke up from the booster gear. Actually, I suppose he's a lot stronger than that. Ria's Pacino was an eyebrow. What do you mean, Dreg? That creature, Gojira as they call it, it seems to be not just stronger than any high-class devil. It seems to be on its own level, actually. If anything, it's seemingly as strong as me and Albion from our prime, maybe surpassed. I can say somewhere between Dragon God and Heavenly Dragon. dragon god. Riz was quiet, processing that information. Dragon god. Those that thing's more close to the level of a dragon god. Akira proceeded to pause. Well, that's interesting news. Ozzy proceeded to ask, what is a dragon god? There's only two in existence, as Urias possess the real, the dragon of dragons, or how it's been called, dragon of dreams, great red. And then you get the Ouroboros dragon of infinity, office. Urias proceeded to sigh. It's complicated. She proceeded to look forward. But today is the treaty. And I think it's about time that we put down this difference aside, don't we say? Octopus proceeded to smile. I could say that again. Yes, as then a voice proceeded to say, within a magic circle, surgeons proceed to appear. I say we do. Big brother, as Rhea simply says. One thing is that creature, Godzilla, is very much an interest in a new topic of the supernatural. It's very much an unknown, but its power is very much clear. But that still leaves us with our own situations. Right, Issei simply says. Like total mayhem and destruction? Not really, no. But maybe a peace treaty. The three factions will finally have the chance to talk this war out and maybe finally end it. As he proceeded to say, now, are we all ready to go? They all proceeded to nod as they all proceeded to get ready and then leave. They proceeded to walk. This was a chance. A real chance to have a shot. This was a chance of peace. And peace was not just going to come out and give it to them. No. Peace was going to come and hand it to them. And nobody was going to go out their way and hand it over. All three factions were there. Representation of the devils, the fallen, and the angels. Michael, Archangel Michael for the angels, the leader of the Grigori, Azazel for the fallen, and Syrinx and Seraphol for the devils. The two great Satans proceeded to sit down. Michael proceeded to say, so, we put this treaty to adjourn. Exactly. As Sir proceeded to say. Now let's get to topic. The stalemate between the three great factions. Michael proceeded to simply say, it is a great strain of topic that's very obvious. Sort of proceeded to nod. Exactly. If peace is going to reign, we must at least work together. We can't be having fights between the three of us. Sort of proceeded to say, and it became more serious. But there's also a new threat upon the horizon. Azala proceeded to nod. Exactly. They call themselves the Chaos Brigade. They're a rogue faction that seemingly want to do anything they desire. Motive clearly unknown. But they are interesting. This is what Azala proceeded to say. But do tell. We all do have one thing in mind. To stop this faction, we have to work together. Michael proceeded to agree. Correct. For an alliance to really form out, we must trust each other. No hands behind our backs. No holding back a knife. And no betraying each other. If we want to peacefully coexist with each other, we have to work together. So they proceeded to nod it. Exactly. Surfer proceeded to speak up. Peace between the factions are most beneficial. But I'm not really sure that this Chaos Brigade is going to give us the chance to really do that, will they? Her bubbly demeanor was all gone. Full leader mode proceeded to be on full display. Exactly. As Azazel simply said, exactly why we all can agree this is needed. But the two biggest powers of influence here are the two Dragon Emperors themselves. That's the real question. So, what do you say, Volley? Volley was quiet until now. Then he looked up. I don't care, as long as I have someone good to fight. His answer was short, simple. That was it. It made sense. As long as he had someone to fight, he would allow this treaty to go on. What about you, Red Dragon? He said proceeded to go quiet, thinking about it. Then he looked up. Well, if peace is going to reign between the three factions, then yeah, I want that. Then I can get to see all the boobs of all three factions. And that's even more amazing. So yeah, I'll take that chance. Well, the Red Dragon Empress is just as I say he is. Michael proceeded to chuckle. Exactly. Strong-willed and strong-headed. Youthful. Sir proceeded to smile. Exactly. But now for a bigger topic. I also proceeded to become a bit more serious, but with a smirk on his face. Our new little elephant in the room. Everyone knew what the elephant was. The monsters. Michael simply says, it was obvious. To what they are exactly, we do not know. To where they come from, we do not know. Also proceeding to speak up, smiling. Exactly. But it's interesting, isn't it? In a world of supernatural creatures and beings and gods, these creatures come from unknown and with unknown abilities and seemingly are just as powerful as us, maybe even more powerful. Sort of proceeded to nod, agreeing, exactly. Which is why the point still stands. the remains of both species, both mutos, have already been taken, supposedly. That's also saying not exactly. I already had my men, had my subordinates go catch one exactly. And what I found was very interesting. Really, Michael Super says, how so? These creatures are unknown origin, but they seem to be very well known. Well, now being well known enough. But we also have one runaway that's currently unknown to find. You see to pull up an image, or more clear image of, Godzilla. The large reptilian-like, dragon-like creature with the silver spine, maple-shaped spines that was protruding out of its back. It's fascinating, isn't it? Look at it. Not a single ounce of magic within it. Not even draconic energy, no nothing. But one thing within it is obvious. I did scans, scanning the distance from the areas around it, from the surrounding areas from the battle. And I found ambient radiation that was a lot higher than usual. Not safe for humans to be around. That makes sense. So it says. And how this thing is, I assume that it is a living, breathing nuclear reactor. Reese's eyes widened at hearing that. A living, breathing nuclear reactor? He proceeded to be surprised. You mean an actual, power plant? That's all I proceeded to smirk. That's a theory. Just a theory. But that breath, that attack of it, on the plate on its back flash, they seem to release a large amount of radiation in a condensed, concentrated beam. It's a powerful attack, seemingly, but I also assume that it costs a lot of energy. Definitely not magic. Everyone proceeded to pause, thinking about it. I thought I proceeded to look, pointing at the silver for white dorsal plates. How their structure is interesting. White outer edges, with the inside being a charcoal black. It's beautiful in its own way. Dazzling. If I could just see it up close, study it, I can know how these creatures understand, how they move, how they work. How they live. Michael proceeded to simply sigh. You're the same as usual, Azazel. Hey, what can I say? I'm a man who loves knowledge. But also a man who loves women. He proceeded to smile, then proceeded to smirk. But I do have to say, it's one thing to be obvious. As the meeting continued going on, that's when the surrounding areas proceeded to freeze. Literally.